Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am showing a paper that I think is interesting in light of a lot of the controversy or questions surrounding the future of Tomo River paper. And when all this started happening, there were lots of forums that sort of said, what is the best, possible option outside of that? And one that always came up was this Cosmo Air Light paper. This is 83 grams per square meter. This is in a Cosmo notebook, Yamato paper. It says it here, the best paper of your fountain pen friendly paper in the 2019 San Francisco Pen Show. So this is very, very fountain pen friendly. And what I've done is I have done a simple little test here in the back of this notebook. This is just an everyday, I'm not reviewing the notebook, just talking about the paper and its performance, particularly with fountain pens, because there are going to be a lot of different formats. If this is one of those papers that takes over, there's going to be a lot of different formats, loose leaf, staple bound or stitch bound notebooks, hardcover, all those kinds of things. And there already are a number available. And in terms of price, it fits in a fairly comfortable position around Tomo River. So let's just see what I've done here, and we can see how it performs with fountain pens. So as I said, this is the Cosmo Air Light 83 grams per meters squared. Now, the weight of the paper means nothing in reality. If you think about the 52 GSM Tomo River versus, its fountain pen friendliness versus, say, some 160 GSM paper, the GSM really doesn't matter. That's simply the weight. So if you have a square of this paper that is 1 meter by 1 meter, how much does that weigh? And this is 83 grams. It's about the weave of the paper and the coating of the paper that is what makes it fountain pen friendly. So let's see how this responds. So I've done a number of ink tests. So I've got the Venustus Fumo di Londra, London Smoke, in the Venustus Magna CC, the Enso black ink cartridge that came with the Enso Puma Pocket, just a regular black fountain pen ink, Monteverde California Teal, and this was in the Blue Dew Flex. Now, I put this here for a reason, and I'll come back to that in just a second. The Kiwi ink's what I called Hurricane Purple, which was the custom ink I had made by them in a Gravitas entry. Then I have Pilot Orochizuku Konpeki in a Platinum Curidas Extra Fine, Intelligentsia Imperium Tharos Brown in a TWSBI Eco Broad. I have Ferris Wheel Press Morningside Mint in a 1.1mm stub on an TWSBI Eco, and then a couple of other things. So I've got a TWSBI, a 2B pencil that was a Tombow mono pencil, an Artline fine liner, a Pilot V-Ball rollerball, a Bic ballpoint, highlighter, Sharpie, and then this beautiful sample down here to show what you can get with this paper, show that it is comparable with Tomo River in a lot of ways. The sheen on this and then the shimmer, this is Kiwi Inks, one of the Tre Colori that, show the three different colors, the primary ink color, the blue, then you've got the shimmer and the sheen color. So you can see lots and lots of sheen. You also get a nice hit of sheen on that California Teal in the Blue Dew Flex. And the reason I'm coming back to that is that flex nib is a very sharp flex nib. It's similar to a Zebra G. So it sort of cuts into the paper a little bit, which is why there's a little bit of feathering there, because it's actually scratching the paper, and therefore those fibers are getting disrupted. So that is perhaps why that is happening, because we're certainly not getting feathering anywhere else from any of these other beautiful inks. Now, a couple of things I will say is that it is fountain pen friendly paper. There is a bit of tooth on it. It's not super smooth. It's not a rough textured paper. It's not, say, as rough as the paper that Baron Fig use or anything like that, but it's got a bit of tooth to it. It's a pleasant tooth. But what was interesting is that it felt kind of draggy on the ballpoint and the pencil in particular, and the Artline fine liner sort of felt like it was pulling on the paper a little bit. So I think it's actually quite a soft paper. I know that sounds a bit silly, or a bit weird, soft and hard paper, but I think you will understand when you're writing on paper, the feeling you get from it. All these fountain pens that sort of sit nicely on the top when they write, because they are smooth nibs, wrote very, very pleasantly. You can also see from the smear that I do at the end of each sample that it's not a super absorbent paper, because some of these aren't particularly wet pens. Like the Curidas Extra Fine is not a wet pen, yet the ink just is sitting on the top, so when you go to smear it, it doesn't have time to dry. And you see that lovely samples there. Now, in terms of erasing the pencil on this page, you can see there was a bit of an issue there. It's not the cleanest in that respect. But now let's look at the reverse of this page. So, none of the fountain pens have come through. They've all looked really great. Even that Flex pen, which lays down a lot of ink. Have I got 2 pages here? No, that's just the one. And it's... and even where it sort of like fractured the surface of the paper, it's looking pretty good. Same carries all the way down, all of the pens. The only spot we get any ink coming through, actually, is the big ink swab I put down, and that was a lot of ink. I wanted to really show the sheen and the, you know, everything from that ink. Even the Sharpie doesn't really come through. And what is actually kind of quite impressive, and this does come down to kind of like to the weight or the thickness of the paper, is that there is limited show through. There, you can see it, there is ghosting, but it is not as pronounced as some other paper, definitely. But the fact that nothing comes through does mean you can use both sides of this paper fairly well. Now, I want to do a quick comparison here. So I'm going to leave that page there, and I'm going to pull up a Tomo River page where, like, not the same, it's not all exactly the same. I'll move this one across, it works out a bit better in terms of the space of the page. So on this page here, I've done some ink tests and things as well, and you can see that I didn't use Base 8 Blue on this paper, on the Cosmo paper, but it looks similar in terms of the performance to Tomo River here. You're not getting a lot of stuff coming through, just mainly the ink swabs, but even the Sharpie does come through a tiny bit there at the bottom of the Tomo River page, which doesn't happen on the Cosmo Air page. Now, the other one I wanted to show is a favourite paper of mine recently, and that is Grapholo paper, which is a little bit more expensive. Now, Grapholo paper has a very similar feel. It's a similar tooth. It's got that sort of slightly rough surface. Nothing bleeds here or feathers here. We get a bit of sheen on this paper. And if we look at the reverse of both of these again, you can see they perform pretty similarly as well. So I think we've actually, like, this Cosmo Air light paper doesn't seem like a particularly terrible option. It's made in Japan. It is, you know, a good quality fountain pen friendly paper. As I said, it's going to be available in a range of formats and a range of different books from manufacturers eventually, I would imagine. As this one is by the Yamamoto paper. Oh, Yamamoto, not Yamato, Yamamoto paper. Sorry about that, for butchering that earlier. Yamamoto. And I think there's a strong chance here that if Tomo River does go the path that we're looking that it may, that we have a good option in the Cosmo Air Light paper for a slightly heavier paper, but in terms of the performance, I think it's a pretty good, pretty good substitute if we need it. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @the_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here or drop me an email, which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your paper, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.